Tired of your old kitchen or bathroom? Upgrade to the home of your dreams with Manny and Courtney from CMK Construction. CMK Construction is Tampa's award-winning kitchen and bath leader for over 20 years. Right now, save $3,000 on a new kitchen and $2,000 on a new bathroom. And take advantage of our no money down and no interest financing until 2026. Imagine, design, build. Tired of your
Streaming from the ADC Action Weather Center in Studio A, this is Dennis Phillips Live. Brought to you by CMK Construction, crafting Tampa's most exquisite bathrooms and kitchens.
How you doing, everybody? It is a Monday night edition of Dennis Phillips Live, and nights like tonight are kind of how we started doing this a long time ago. You know, we've been doing this little interactive thing going on for over 20 years now, believe it or not, dating back to Charlie in 2004. We weren't on broadcast TV. We weren't even on Facebook. That was before Facebook started doing this stuff, too. But we had a bunch of us, about 200-300 of us, and we used to just have these little chats, especially during hurricane coverage, when we would just be on continuously and talking about anything and everything. And it really turned into just a pretty close-knit group. A lot of them are still here right now. But if you're watching on TV on the spot, 66.1, either OTA, here's my suggestion. And I was saying this on TV a couple minutes ago. So if you're watching on Facebook, it's awesome. We get the interaction, and that's what we love about this group. And we've got so many folks here from all over already checking in. Deborah, Sun City. We've got Key Largo checking in, Trinidad and Tobago. We've got St. Martin in the house. A lot of folks from the islands, obviously curious about what's going on here. But what we suggest doing is, if you're watching on Spectrum 17 or Frontier 23, TV is a good way to see all the graphics because it's higher resolution, it's a bigger screen, but you can still follow along on your phone and comment on your phone or on your laptop. So it's kind of a multi-platform thing. So if you want to go ahead and follow on TV, that's awesome. If you want to just follow here, that's great too. But boy, we obviously have lots and lots of folks here curious about what is going on with Erin. I mean, we've been talking about this for what? 8-9 days. The models have been pretty much all over this from the beginning. And the question is going to be, where is it going to go? Well, before we get into our analysis, we always do our hellos. So we have a lot of folks in here, and the number is building, thousands of people here. I'm sure just as many, if not more, watching on TV. But anyway, no, let's... We've got folks from Palm Harbor. Lee's in Palm Harbor. Lindsay wants to know if you can decorate for Christmas yet. Lindsay, I'm all about decorating for Christmas 365 days in the year. And this is a thing with my family. So you've got some people in the family who want their Halloween decorations up first. You got me that wants the Christmas stuff up at 24/7. It is a constant battle. I give up Halloween until October 31st, and then November 1st, we start decorating. So again, we usually have a lot of Q&A, a lot of interaction. I will answer your questions the last round of the show, the Heat Lightning round rather. But let's jump in, because we obviously have a lot of folks here wanting to know what Erin's going to do. And let's start with what we have with the Hurricane Center. All right, so we're going to start right off the bat with the yellow X's. Ironically enough, the one in the Gulf is the reason that we had all that rain over the last couple of days in and around the state of Florida. Not going to develop. The Hurricane Center literally has a 0 chance of development, which that's kind of interesting that they would paint the X at all if there's no chance of development. But there is a mid-level circulation. So, I mean, they do what they do. They post as they see. And the other 2 areas off to the north, no issues whatsoever. But it's why we post about this stuff. And, and I get folks who come on and say, why are you posting? This is so far out there. It's not going to bother anybody. It's all a bunch of nonsense. Look, when the Hurricane Center is posting about something, we're going to post about it, right? That's what we do. They're the folks who initiate everything. We talk about it as well, even before they do sometimes. But at the end of the day, our job and our goal is to try to get you guys informed. And at this point in time, the threat to Florida with this particular storm is extremely low. Am I going to say it's 0? No. I mean, this thing's off the coast of Africa right now. I'm not going to be that foolhardy, but let's just say it is extremely low. All right, let's go ahead and, in fact, take a look at what we have here. There it is. There is Erin. It's a really little bitty system, and it's surrounded by Saharan dust. So anything that happens short term, it's not expected to be any kind of a dramatic intensification. And I'll show you the Saharan dust in a minute, but it makes it really, really difficult for this thing to get its act together when it's surrounded by dust. Well, there's the latest, winds of 45 miles an hour. Just so you know, in terms of the way this plays out, and I'll go ahead and remind folks, because we get folks from all over. There was someone who posted on my Facebook page, they're coming from Iowa, and they're so disappointed that it's going to be a terrible week with a hurricane coming. No, no, not even close. First of all, I don't think we see a hurricane in Florida. Second of all, if it were to change, it would be the middle of next week. It's 10 days out. So this week is going to be a normal week, nothing to worry about. But this is definitely the beginning of the season. And I'm going to show you the models that aren't just looking at Erin, but even trying to develop some stuff past Erin. And you know what? It should, because it's mid-August. And from now until mid-October, that is prime time for tropical development. But with Erin, I will tell you, we talked about this, and I'll show you this map coming up in a minute as well. But historically, the amount of times that a storm where Erin is right now that impacts the U.S. directly, it's about 5%. And I've shown you this map before, and I'll show it to you again. But now that's climatology. In other words, we look back at history and say, how many times has a storm in mid-August where Erin is located hit the United States? You can count it on one hand. It is extraordinarily rare. It's literally 5% of the time. It's not 0, though, but I'm not losing sleep over 5% of the time. Now, in a week, if something changes dramatically, we'll address it. But this is my key to this show and my perspective on things. I am not going to worry about a what if. You'll drive yourself crazy. And that's why I don't like those worst case scenarios posted on social. Because to me, I will look at those, and that is the worst case what if. My mantra is not to freak out unless I'm freaking out. We're fine. And I don't freak out about a what if that has a chance of less than 5%. Do we respect it? Sure. Do we keep our eyes on it? Yes. Do we worry about it? No. Because why am I going to worry about something that is extraordinarily unlikely to happen, right? Now, as we get further into the season, things might change. But with this particular system itself, the odds of it impacting us directly are very low. There is the track from the Hurricane Center, all right? That will be updated 4 times a day. 11 p.m. at night, 5 a.m. in the morning, 11 a.m. in the morning, and 5 p.m. in the afternoon. They update it 4 times a day. The track is updated 4 times a day, all right? So this is the projected track. If this forecast verifies, all right? If this forecast verifies, the impacts will be negligible for the entire eastern seaboard. Right there, all right? The Bahamas, you get some waves out of it. You will not see cruises canceled. You will not see flights canceled. The Caribbean islands, while it's closer, when it passes the Caribbean islands, it should still be far enough north, and it's still a pretty small storm that I just don't see dramatic impacts based on the current track. All right? So I'm throwing it out there right now. If this track verifies, we get no impacts in Florida and probably little to no impacts on the eastern coast of the United States. If, say it again, if this track verifies. Now, are there opportunities? Are there possibilities that things could change? Come on, we live in Florida. We've seen it happen over and over again. So I'm not going to go out on that limb and say, absolutely, it's not going to happen. But are you asking me what am I thinking right now? I'm thinking unless something dramatically different happens, we're probably looking okay. But it's 11 days out, so I'm not going to go out on that limb all the way out. That would be foolhardy, and I'm not going to do it. But I'll say it again. Instead of focusing on the worst case scenario or even the best case scenario, let's look at the most realistic scenario, right? That to me makes most sense. Why focus on the worst case? Why focus on a best case? Let's focus on what we really think is going to happen. And we'll look at the models and talk about that coming up in just another 90 seconds. Okay, so we are in a commercial break. All right? And so right now, Sasha is asking about her cruise. I think you'll be fine on your cruise, Sasha. I would bring some Dramamine, but I think you're going to be okay. Let's this, no, Jamil. Okay, I'm confused. Jamil has been on this page for a little while. He's a little over, excitable maybe, but it's not. He's not bad. He's not a bad. He's just he's enthusiastic. He's an enthusiastic guy. So unless I've seen something different, I don't see any need at all to break out the ban button on Jamil. Okay, so Abigail's asking about sweatshirt. Mike's watching from Chili's. Okay, wait a minute. We're back in 19, 18 seconds, all right? And you know what? Since you asked about it, I am going to pop that up right off the bat. Let's see, where is it? There we go. Okay. I will come out on this because people have asked about it. All right. All right, we are back. Dennis Phillips Live. I've had a lot of people asking, lots of Q&A. We've got thousands of folks here, including Mike from Mike's Weather Page. He's at Chili's right now, which is his second home. My guess is there is some sort of an adult beverage in his hand, even as we speak. But a lot of folks were asking about our new merch. All proceeds benefit Feeding Tampa Bay, Children's Miracle Network. It all goes to charity. So it's kind of like why we show this. If you go on my Facebook page, at the very top of my page, you will see a link to this site. And we have added a lot of new stuff, including zippered hoodies. There were a lot of people last week, Dennis, get me a zippered hoodie. We have rule number 7 glasses, we got tumblers, we got hoodies. There's the zippered ones right there. Lots and lots of stuff. Proceeds benefit local charities. So I wanted to throw that out there because a lot of people were asking about it. Okay, so let's go back and talk about models, all right? Because when we look at the spaghetti models, there is a ton of consensus with this storm. People are asking about cruises. At this point in time, your cruises are going to be okay. Cruises are usually okay anyway, because typically what happens is the ships will just go in another direction, right? They'll go around it. But let's go ahead and jump in and look at some of the models, all right? I'm going to go ahead and take these full. When we talk about models, we have operational models, which is a single entity, and at this point in time, it's just not worth looking at. The ensembles are the way to go. What's an ensemble? The European ensemble has 51 members. Now, what does that mean? It means that the model runs 51 times and tweaks the details just a little bit every time. And when you get those details tweaked, you get different spaghetti plots. And look at the overwhelming majority of the European spaghetti plots. They are all offshore. There's literally only one or two impacting Florida. So the overwhelming majority of the European model runs bring this offshore. Now, the AI, which is interesting, the AI model was far more aggressive in keeping Florida in the mix. This has also shifted east. It is looking a little bit at the Outer Banks of the Carolinas, and that is a spot that usually needs to be watched with this kind of a pattern. But the majority are still well offshore. Do you see the recurring theme here, guys? Offshore. 11 days out, so this is 15 days out. So watch what happens here. If we go time frame, so that's 9 days out, there's 10 days out. So if it were to make impact with anybody, if it were to go farther west, it's about 10 days from now. But notice, I will show you one other thing. I'll show it to you in a minute. Here's the GFS. Same thing. Look at the GFS. You look at the track as it's coming across. And then look at the spread. The GFS does have a few impacting Florida, but the overwhelming majority of the tracks are out to sea, possibly impacting the Canadian Maritimes. That is also something that can be a thing, all right? So those are the ensemble runs. And when we talk about ensemble runs, they're just a better way to look at it because they give you a more broad brush view this far out. Look, if we're 4 or 5 days out, operational runs are probably going to be every bit as good, if not better, because we're much closer. But when you're 10, 11, 12 days out, there's so many variables that come into play, all right? So let's go back. I want to show you some stuff here, and then we got to take another break. So this is the spaghetti models with Erin. It's to the west, staying well to the north of the islands. So folks who are watching us in St. Martin, and I know there are some folks out there, folks who are watching us in Puerto Rico, folks who are watching us in the Lesser Antilles, unless there's a dramatic change west, and if that's the case, it's a weaker system anyway, you're going to be okay. All right? And look at one of the reasons why. Look at the Saharan dust. I'm going to go back with this here. Watch this. I'm going to bring this back. Okay. So look at the spin. Your storm is right there on the right side near Africa. It's enveloped in Saharan dust. There ain't no way it is going to turn into a massive system when it's surrounded by such dust. Now, eventually, when it goes north of the islands, I think it's going to get rid of that dust. It's going to moisten the atmosphere, and then you are going to have a developing system that the Hurricane Center actually paints as a major hurricane. Sean, how you doing, my friend? So there is a look at the predictions. We've already gone over that. We have now checked Erin off the list. We've had 5 named storms with Ferdinand next. Here is the map I wanted to show you again. Look at the month of August, and look where the majority of the storms go. That orange color and red color is the most common track. What do we see from there? It's offshore. Now, yes, we do get storms that go onshore. We see that, right? I mean, you definitely see them out there. There are some out there. But overall, the numbers are lower with those than the orange and red area. And that's very important because, as I just told you, Greg posted this on his site a couple of minutes ago, and it's from the FSU site. But look at September. Look at where the majority of tracks are. They are offshore. So when you see models that are showing something onshore, look, that is climatology. What you're looking at right there is the last 100 years. Those are the storms that formed. they don't have anything to do with what's happening in the state of the atmosphere right now, but I believe in climatology, which obviously so do the AI models, because that's what AI models are doing now. They are taking the state of the, when you see AI on the Google model or the Euro or whatever model with AI, all it does is taking the last 50, 60, 70, 80 years of data, throwing it into the computer, and comparing what we have right now, the state of the atmosphere right now, and finds another time where it was similar or comparable or exactly the same or pretty close to it. And then it says what happened then and tries to see if that'll happen now and learns from that. I believe in that mindset. I think it makes sense, and it did really, really well last year. Now, the Euro AI has not been great this year. It's been off compared to last year, but that is the mindset. So the bottom line, when you look at September and you look at August, the majority of the storms stay offshore, but not all of them. So we'll take a deeper dive into those models coming up in 90 seconds. Okay, another break. Did I use a big word, Diane? I don't think I did, although I did say bupkis to one of the people in that Orlando, the person in Iowa who I said, I think your impacts from this storm will be bupkis. And she said she literally had to Google it to see what that meant. So I don't consider that a big word, but it is one that I've used. So anyway, okay. We are not panicking, B-dubs. we are not panicking at all. All right, let's go back and show you some of the operational models now, because these are the ones that'll get people's attention. All right? And we have to do it. We have to show it because people want to know. So we've shown, boy, I'm so, yet again, I'm heavy on my brakes. I'm the worst at timing this show out. I'm absolutely the worst. Okay, your comments are just the best. All right, so let's go. So we have how many more? We have 10 seconds left. All right, and we're going to show some operational runs. All right, and there is more behind Erin if you look at some of the models. Of course there is. It's the middle of hurricane season, right? Okay, so we are back. Dennis Phillips Live. As always, I'm way heavy. My producers are just laughing because they know when I go long during the newscast, and I have to hit another break in like 3 minutes. So let's jump in quick. We talked about the ensembles, right? They are a better way to look at this. When we're talking about Erin, right now, the thinking is it's going to curve away from the U.S. Might that change in 4 or 5 days? Maybe, but I don't think it will. All right? Only 5% of the time in history that we have recorded has a storm that's where Erin is located right now hit the U.S. The odds, as they say, are forever in your favor, or at least they are with this particular storm. So we'll see how it plays out. Now, I want to show you the operational runs. You hear me talk about these. I'm not a big fan of these this far out, but I do think I want to show you this in one particular reason, okay? So when you look at the GFS and the European, especially the European, this is the operational run, all right? And what the Euro shows, let's go ahead and look at it. You see your storm, it develops, stays north of the islands, little impact on the islands, and then it starts to get stronger as it clears that dust. There is the ridge, okay, imagine a mountain of air to the north of this storm, blocking it from moving north. If that mountain stays there, then this storm would go right into Florida. But it's not going to, because you see that little trough up there? By the way, Sean, that's a 540 line right there, my friend. So, yeah, so you see that trough up there? That trough will act as a way to break down that ridge. So, with the trough breaking down the ridge, that blocking high retreats to the east, and look what happens. The storm lifts north. That is the forecast, all right? That is what we're thinking right now. That's 9 days out. I want to show you one other thing with the operational run, because this is a weather chat, and why not? It just goes to show you that there is more behind it. And look at the little wave down around the islands down here that the Euro is showing. It's a week and a half out, but it is trying to develop another system behind it, as it should. And there's another system right there behind it, as it should, because we are now getting into the heart of the hurricane season. The Euro AI, remember the AI I talked about? Stays just north of the islands, gets closer to the Bahamas. I told you, the Euro AI has been wanting to bring this more west, but even it keeps it just offshore, but closer. So we cannot write this off entirely. We just can't. And this actually brings it right around. And by the way, there's your 540 line, Sean. There's your freezing line up there in the Maritimes. But it also develops something behind it. It's little, but it does. And another one back in the islands here. So what my point is, Erin may not be our storm, hopefully, and probably isn't, but it is certainly the beginning of more on the way in this hurricane season. Last break, and we'll be back for our final segment. I'm so bad at this timing thing. So, by the way, I want to show you guys. So I'm going to grab this. So, you know, we have this chat group, and we've had this group for a long, long time. So Michael Trapman is one of our original group, and he sends me stuff every now and again. He sent me these Old Bay cheese curls today, and they're extraordinary. I spent some of my life in the Eastern Shore. My family likes to go up to Fenwick Island, Delaware. We didn't go this year, but blue crabs and Old Bay go hand in hand. I'm a blue crab fanatic. And these are Old Bay cheese curls. So, Michael, thank you. They are so good. All right, we are in our last 40 seconds. So, again, it is a Maryland staple. But Andy, is it the cheese curls? I've never seen cheese curls. I've seen the chips, but I've never seen the cheese curls before. They're so good. I will eat Old Bay on anything. It's a true story. Okay, so let's go back. We're going to go to our final segment. We're going to stay on Facebook for a few minutes longer. I'm actually having dinner with my son tonight, which is kind of exciting. So I'm going to, I'm going to finish this up just shortly after 8, then I'm going to meet Shay for dinner. Not Shay Ryan, Shay, my son. Okay, we are back in 3, 2. Final quick segment. Again, let's recap. Erin, winds of 45 miles an hour. Expected to become a Category 3 hurricane by this weekend, staying north of the islands. And let me go back and show you this graphic. Let me call that back up again. Where is it? I'm trying to go back. There we go. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and take this one. Expected to curve north. Eventually, there it is, winds of 45 miles an hour. All right. You get areas behind it. Look, it's going to start getting active, folks. I mean, we knew it was going to happen. You can see the stuff behind it going, but the track, that's the 7-day. I don't want to see the 7-day. So let's go ahead and just show you what the latest track is from the Hurricane Center, and that is right here. There it is. All right. This will be updated again at 11 o'clock. Notice the last segment when it goes major. You start to see that northward jog. That is what we're expecting. I'm not going to sit here and guarantee that that is the way it's going to play out, but certainly that is the way we are leaning right now. It is the most reasonable expectation. It's not worst case scenario. It's not best case scenario. It's what I think is going to happen. Every day we'll continue to monitor it. We'll be back on DPL every single day, giving you an update and trying to give you a reasonable expectation of what to expect from this storm. And at this point, for Florida, that would be nothing. Folks, have a great night. Okay, streamers are done and broadcast is done. And we will answer a few more questions right now. I will go to your Facebook questions. Jim Cantore is not going to be here. Maybe he'll go to the Canadian Maritimes. Kind of doubt it. Hey, Shay. So my son Shay is actually here. He's actually on the chat. So I will see you at dinner. That's awesome. I didn't have to ban. I wasn't even looking at the comments because I was doing all this stuff. Was there anybody that needed to be? Oh, Ryan's calling me. Just a second. Now that we're not on TV. Hold on. Stand by. Ryan Phillips, you are live on Dennis Phillips Live. How are you?
I'm good, and I know because I'm watching you.
Oh, you're watching DPL. Did you wait and call after we were no longer on TV?
Yeah.
You did? I think you should call on TV too, because I think that would be entertaining.
I could just stay on the call.
Well, we're not on TV anymore. We're done with the TV. Yeah, but next time feel free to call during TV because I think our TV people need to be acquainted with Ryan Phillips as well.
Is a hurricane gonna hit us?
No, why don't you ask Alexa? Because isn't that what you normally do? Oh my, it just ticks me off. Hey, I hear in the morning, getting ready for school. Hey Alexa, is it gonna rain today?
Hey Google.
That's my.
It's Google.
Oh, it's Google? Yeah.
You know.
That's Jake in the background as well. Ryan, tell us how school was. Today was Ryan's first day in middle school. So tell us how middle school went today.
It was good. I went from my homeroom at 1 through 6. So it was my first time changing classes other than my 2 teachers I had that I changed in the middle of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But I go to orchestra, I go to math, and then I go to PE, lunch, language arts, history, and science.
So it was a good day.
Yeah.
By the way, just hold on a second, Ryan. So for the folks who are just tuning in, again, we talked about Erin. There's the forecast track. Not expected to hit Florida, expected to curve away from the U.S. It is still too early to absolutely guarantee that. But the leaning is right now, high pressure will break down, shift a little bit to the right, to the northeast, and in doing so, it'll find a way for this to make a curve. And again, Greg posted a graphic, it was a great graphic an hour or two ago from the FSU site. Going back in history, dating back 130 years, storms that are located where Erin is, only 5% have ever made landfall in the U.S. So the odds are certainly in our favor. And that doesn't necessarily mean this one has anything to do with the past, but I'm inclined to think it's looking pretty good. So we'll just see, day by day. So
Is Kevin there?
what's that? No.
Kevin there?
Ryan calls Jason Adams Kevin. I don't know why. I have no idea, but
Looks like a Kevin.
okay, Kevin is sick, but Kevin was sick yesterday. Jason was sick yesterday, so we filled in. Shay worked the 6 o'clock show, I worked the 11, and Allie worked the morning, so we kind of all three covered for him. But he's apparently feeling a little bit better, so that's a good thing. All right, Ryan, well, I got to get going because I'm eating Shay, as in your brother Shay, for dinner, and feel free to call tomorrow. And I guess I won't. No, I'll see you in the morning, right? Yeah, I'll see you in the morning. Well, call me before you go to bed.
Yeah, because it's Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay. Call me before you go to bed. Okay.
Okay.
All right, sweetie. Love you.
Love you.
All right, bye. Okay, so Ryan waited till we were no longer on TV to make a call. That's very unlike her, because Ryan's goal in life is to have as many people looking at her at that moment as any other time. Ryan is not afraid of the spotlight. Ryan is way less shy than me. I know you won't believe, yes, way less shy. Believe it or not, I'm kind of shy when it comes to parties and groups and stuff. I'm kind of a wallflower. It's a true story. All right, so anyway, so there you go. That's what it is. We covered the ensembles. Almost all of them stay offshore. The official NHC track doesn't go out that far, but you do see on the last bit, you start to see that curve to the north. Have we seen storms this far out change? We absolutely have, but it's rare, and I do not expect it will happen. At this point in time, I'm comfortable in saying we will watch it, but this would not be a Florida storm. All right, that's where I'm looking right now. If 3 or 4 days things change dramatically, we'll reevaluate. But I'm not going to sit there and show one picture of the worst case scenario and say, well, this might still happen. It's still a good chance. No, there's not a good chance. Is there a chance? Yes, but not a good chance. All right. Anybody got any other questions? Any other questions? Thank you for the dinner, for the dinner wishes. I appreciate. What time is it? Actually, it is getting kind of late. I told him 8:05. All right, we're good. So I will post a little bit of a write-up coming up after dinner, maybe my thoughts as I see some new models and post the new model data out there. But look, the season's just starting. We had a good thing going here. We've got our conversation. We've got it on TV. We've got it on social. Every platform out there, our team is going to be there to give you the information you need to make the decisions you need. But in this particular storm, I don't think this is going to be the one you're going to have to make that decision. All right? So have a great night, and I will see you on tomorrow's edition of Dennis Phillips Live. See you guys. Have a great night.